Yeah, I told Stacy, Tony, and Shane that my iPads, for whatever reason, didn't charge real well, so I may switch over to the phone here in midstream, depending on how long the meeting goes. Just so you know, I didn't leave. I'm right here.
All right, Commissioner, so we are recording and we are live on Facebook. So whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. We are about to begin Summit County Commissioners meeting for Thursday, September 24th. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of America.
To
The Republic for which is one nation under
one
God,
nation under God,
indivisible, liberty
and justice
for all. Okay, Mr. Commissioner, I believe that you're going to give us a prayer today, please.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot going on in the world, and my sincere wish for everyone is that God give you for every storm a rainbow, for every tear a smile, for every care a promise, and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life sends a faithful friend to share, and for every sigh a sweet song, and an answer to each and every one of your prayers. So today, as we contemplate every county business, may God give us storms, but also the rainbow that follows.
Thank you. Okay, Nikki, roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Here.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Mrs. Wilson, County Administrator's report.
FEDC is on for their update at 10, if you want to do FEDC first.
That would be a good plan. Do we have FEDC unmuted and ready to go?
Renee?
Yes.
There's Renee. Perfect.
Hey, Renee.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm super excited to be here today. Want to give you guys kind of some updates on some things. We've got some unique things happening over here in Fostoria. But first, I wanted to let you guys know, because I never know what people understand and what they don't. When we talk about FEDC, we have grown substantially over the last few years. And so when we talk about economic development, not only am I overseeing FEDC, but also our Community Improvement Corporation, the Fostoria Learning Center, and through a joint management agreement overseeing the Fostoria Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau. And then in addition to that, as you know, we work with the Land Bank, and we're doing about 95% of the grants writing for the city of Fostoria. So what I'm going to talk to you about today kind of runs the gamut. So I just wanted to tee that up so you don't get confused when I start talking about random stuff. Couple highlights, projects. Manel, I hope everybody saw that in August, Manel Milling did announce a sizable expansion, about a $9.5 million expansion project. They got a new national customer, and so that is being incentivized by both Jobs Ohio and the Ohio Rail Commission, and there's about a dozen new jobs associated with that project. In addition, we have the 100,000 square foot spec building on State Route 12, which interest lagged during COVID on that a little bit, but we are definitely seeing a number of interested parties in that right now. Several have been repeat visits to the site, and we actually just showed it yesterday to a potential buyer out of state. So we're hoping that we get that moved relatively soon. Also, we talked back in August that we were applying for a rural industrial park loan to put up an additional smaller spec building in our existing industrial park. That is an ongoing process, but as of right now, it looks like we will be getting that loan. So we will probably start construction on that new spec building the first part of 2021. We continue to work on the land bank with the treasurer's office and all of you in the prosecutor's office. I do want to mention that we have seen an increased property value in Fostoria over the last 12 to 18 months, noticeable increase. And so we're certainly attributing part of this to the land bank and the success we've seen with that program. Something new that we have, we are now a co-starters community here in Fostoria. And basically, co-starters provides training, support, and resources to assist entrepreneurs to develop their ideas and launch their businesses. We have been trained, our staff, as well as some community members, to actually do a 10-week course that will take anyone that has an idea and turn it into a potential business, or to vet that idea and determine that they can or cannot make it a business. It works with people on everything from how to scale their business, business structures, legal considerations, basic accounting principles, all of the above. And we are actually going to run our first cohort starting in October and already have multiple people registered for that class. Along with this program, we are arranging for business leaders in marketing and branding, general business, accounting, and legal to have monthly advising hours to assist entrepreneurs in our area at no cost. So we're really excited about this new program, and we are the only co-starters community currently in the state of Ohio. So with the recent announcements out of TSEP and then this, I have to say, I think Seneca County is rocking it with some of these new and innovative programs. Some other interesting undertakings, if you haven't been to Fostoria in the last 6 months, we have been working on a downtown Parquet, and its grand opening is going to be October 10th. This was originally a $12,000 project that transformed into over $100,000, all locally raised and supported. But we took a vacant lot and created a showpiece, which incorporates everything from some of our sculptures to benches, picnic tables, a pergola, and beautiful landscaping by our garden club. Next spring, we're going to be installing a community mosaic on a wall that was built at the back of the Parquet. And we received funding through the Ohio Arts Council for this portion of the project. So next time you're in Fostoria, please check this out. I think you'll be very impressed. Jobs Ohio is rolling out a new program anticipated for next week called the Vibrant Community Program that we will be applying for. It's a competitive grant program offering up to $2 million for development projects that transform areas within a distressed community. We are working on a downtown project that we will submit for this initial round of funding, but we're excited about that. Another unique opportunity for us actually occurred just yesterday. Yesterday, Fostoria, along with 5 other organizations in Northwest Ohio, was invited to live pitch a project to a group of investors, foundations, and banks. This opportunity came to us through a program called Investment Connection through the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. And I live pitched $1 million community project involving a unique housing idea that we're exploring here in Fostoria. We'll know in the next week if any of the investors are interested in working with us, but we did receive a lot of positive feedback after the pitch. So more to come on this opportunity, but it was a great experience and a great opportunity to get our name out there and talk about what we have going on here in Seneca County. Another interesting thing that's come up just this week, I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but our Geary Family YMCA is in competition for a $25,000 grant through State Farm for a teen drop-in center here in Fostoria. Winners are selected by votes, and you have to be in the top 40 to be funded. And I believe there are a couple thousand people vying for this money. Voting continues through October 2nd, and you can vote up to 10 times a day. As of this morning, our project is at number 48 on the list. So we're very close to being in that top 40. It's being promoted all over social media. So the link can be found out there. And of course, any and all votes are appreciated, as this is I mean, it would be huge for Fostoria. We're currently working with the city on a CARES Act grant program for our small businesses, and we're working on a number of projects right now. We have 6 of our larger manufacturers all in the process of doing some kind of project or expansion. We're also doing various projects in other sectors, some commercial, some downtown. And of course, I hate to say it, but we're already gearing up for 2021 in a number of ways. I think we can all agree that 2020 has brought a lot of unexpected experiences for all of us, but we're coming out of it, very well, I think. But overall, we've just got a lot of different things going on a lot of different fronts. I can't thank the Commissioner's Office enough for your continued support of FEDC and all that we're working to accomplish in Fostoria. And it's greatly appreciated by not only myself, but my board of directors and the citizens of Fostoria. So those are just some highlights. I didn't want to bore you too long, but I'll gladly take any questions.
Yeah, Renee, we talk about different topics, and sometimes we're involved in them, but we're really the folks from the general public aren't aware of what's going on with them. So would you expand just a little bit about the land bank, the purpose, and maybe a few numbers about what we've accomplished so far?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the land bank was created, I want to say in 2016, 2017. And the goal of the land bank is to take dilapidated structures or blighted structures that are delinquent on their taxes and eliminate them or rehab them. And we have worked through the state of Ohio and gotten money to get kind of our land bank up and operational. And we have probably through this process, the land bank has taken on about 125, 130 different properties throughout the county. And we have demolished a significant number of those. And of those that have been demolished, I believe it's like 51 have currently been put back on the tax roll because they've been turned over to adjacent property owners or things of that nature. Probably about a dozen of those houses have actually been turned over for rehab purposes. And we're actually creating partnerships throughout this program, one being with Great Lakes Community Action Partnership and their Youth Builds program. They're actually using 2 of our properties as hands-on experiences for students, for rehabbing properties through Associated Builders and Contractors. So it's been a significant undertaking over the last few years. We currently I think we've got 15 houses that will come down between now and the end of the year. So it's an ongoing process, but I think it's been beneficial to the county as a whole significantly.
Well, that's the good point. The good point is it's not only in Fostoria, but it is all the townships, the city of Tiffin, and all the two that have been involved. And I think virtually everyone has had some applications to do one of the projects there.
Absolutely.
Second thing I wish you would expand on, please, is first of all, congratulations. I want to commend you for all the work you've done on the land bank, because you've done a lion's share of the work, and we appreciate that. The idea that you had presented, that you had pitched at your latest meeting with the Federal Reserve, this is exactly the conclusion, by the way, that we've come to with various meetings, that the best procedure to try to get a project done in a community is to kind of have an idea as to what that project would be, rather than just say we want something done, and then try to get people that are qualified to complete that project. So the point that I'm trying to make to you is that your procedure is absolutely correct based on everything, all the discussions that we've had. We have a vision for a project. Now, is anybody willing to come out here and come to Fostoria and actually do the project, rather than wait for somebody to give you an idea? So congratulations on that. That's good stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Renee, I just wanted to say that I stopped by and check out the progress on the Parquet on Saturday. It looks great. And with the combination of the Parquet and the art, it's a real case study for placemaking and using creative placemaking as a way to drive traffic to the downtown. So kudos, it's really looking good.
Thank you.
Good. And Renee, I'm pleased to hear property values are up. as the plight is being removed and positive things are happening, that's one of the results. So I had not heard that. So that's awesome news.
Mhm.
And my understanding is that you were invited to make your pitch, but how many applicants were there? You made the cut. That was a big deal in itself just to get the invitation, right?
It was. I have heard various numbers on how many applications were submitted, but they only picked 6 to pitch yesterday. And we by far asked for the most money, but our project is pretty unique and it would be one of a kind here in Northwest Ohio. And I've already gotten some feedback, and I think we're going to have some investors reaching out to talk to us for additional details on our project. And if that happens, I will be at your meeting following that news to announce what that project would be, because I think it's pretty cool.
This is like Shark Tank, right?
Great job.
Yeah, that's how I live my life. It's like one big game of Shark Tank. Mhm.
Well, like we always say, commissioners, we're just blessed in the county to have such great people part of our county. We all live here, work together, and the leadership we have. And Renee, you're just one of those. You're just awesome. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Renee? Hearing none, we will move on to Stacy Wilson's administrator's report.
Sure. Just going to review the coronavirus relief fund requests. If I can find that one. Maybe. Well, as long as I didn't shut it. Okay, share. Here it is. Okay, the Coronavirus Relief Fund Committee met yesterday. We've got a few requests. Some are reimbursements. Some of the same stuff we've already approved. Sanitizer, Clorox wipes, disinfectant wipes, thermometers. We also got the additional quote for the cameras for the contact tracing at the CSB building. We reviewed it with the departments in the building, and they're happy with the layouts. Also, we received the quote for the public safety building for the phone systems. It will be the same system that will be going into the CSB. All the phones will be able to be hooked up to our network. We will be able to work from home, use the phone numbers at home like we're calling from work. So it will make working at home easier. So the total request for this week comes to $67,006.22, which total, if approved this today, we would be at $451,933.36. I do want to show you just quickly the grant that Charlene had filled out for the Justice Center, the Sheriff Common Pleas and Youth Center. I just wanted you guys to kind of see the magnitude of that request. So if for some instance we do not get the court grant, a lot of these requests will want to come out of our expenses, which exceeds what we have. So, but I at least wanted to show you what was sitting out there. Some of the items on the court grant are not eligible on the Coronavirus Relief Fund on ours. They have given them different parameters. They can do different things with that grant than what we could. So it won't be that total amount, but it will be close. So I just wanted you guys to see that number that was requested for that court grant.
And Stacy, the approximate balance after the 451, we've got round 1, round 2. Are we formally tallying round 3, or is that, I saw a memo, it's on its way, but.
Yeah, I think I seen that from CCAO this morning, that it's now to the governor's desk. I think Mike Ditto might be on. He may be able to clarify it. I was trying to read it this morning. Doesn't look like they're releasing too much of the criteria other than maybe giving some date relief for, say, the townships and the villages. Instead of October 15th, they have till like November 20th. And then the end of the year, before they said we had to have everything done and spent by December 28th. They still want us to have all projects accounted for, but for accounting reasons, it looks like they're going to extend that date out to February, but we still need to have the projects in and done. And then some of the other things, it doesn't sound like they're releasing much of the, not a revenue replacement, anything like that, but I don't know, Mike's
I
got-
think the formula is different this time, right? They're doing it per capita and by
Round three.
municipality.
Yep.
So Shane, I'm just trying to quantify the dollar amount, I guess.
Yeah, because we got 923 the first round. We got 461 the second round. And I'm not sure, I know they're doing it by population. They did send a spreadsheet out. But I'm not sure if these numbers are total or.
Right. There's $1.9 million, right?
Yeah, it's 1.9
It's $1.9
million.
million. I don't know if that's inclusive of everybody else or if that was our portion.
Right, yep. So that's why I wasn't sure. I didn't want to necessarily bring that up just because, I mean, I know it's supposed to be based on population, but I wasn't sure if they were including everybody or not. So, but.
Yeah, no, Shane, because as Commissioner Kirschner is always reminding us, that's 650 million. So this round three, the bucket of money to be divided is much higher than round one and two. So the trickle down could be something like that.
Yeah.
But as we said here, we've got a 1,384,000. We spent 450. I see Mr. Ditto on there. Back to you, Commissioner Kirschner.
Yeah, Mike Ditto, why don't you bring us up to date here? Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Commissioner. So no, you're exactly right. It is a per capita based funding system for this next round. They're still expecting some Treasury guidance to allow you to potentially use this for non-COVID related expenses, but that still has not come. That's to the detriment of a lot of communities around Ohio and around other states as well. And I know that there are congressional leaders that are clamoring for it, but it's getting kind of caught up in this bipartisan bickering in Congress. But you are correct. Per capita, that 1.9 million number may be very well correct. The Office of Budget and Management, OBM, will be releasing some numbers, I believe, as soon as the governor puts his signature on the bill to say exactly what the local communities get. But if you got that spreadsheet with that amount from CCAO, I think that is likely correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ditto.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, anything else, Stacy Wilson?
I just need you to approve those recommendations unless you have any questions.
Okay, so I'll accept the motion to approve the recommendations for the CARES money.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Nikki, please, roll call.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to commission. Nothing else, Stacy?
No, I'll do the employees and contracts under new or old business.
Okay. Commissioner reports, I'll start this time. I would like to give kudos to the Board of Elections. They were able to secure, I think it was a $40,000 grant. Is that right, Stacy?
30.
$30,000 grant. Because we're not able to, because of the COVID situation, we're not able to use the work program from out of the jail to move equipment around and to do certain things that we did for this election. So this money will be used to handle a number of things that used to be handled out there. But to quantify, I mean, it just tells you how much we rely on some of these procedures within the county it's going to cost us $40,000 to do what we need to do, and that money, that work would have otherwise been done by the prisoner work program. We can't use that, so thank goodness they were able to secure the $40,000. This isn't the first time the Board of Elections has went out to try to find grant money for themselves, and I give them a lot of credit, because when they see it's available, they get out there, they make the application, and more times than not, they're successful with that. So thanks to those guys, and we did a number of other things. The other thing that I'd like to mention today is this is we talk about a lot of folks and how hard they work, and it's absolutely true, but I'd like to give kudos to my fellow commissioners here today. You know, I go through the calendar, and for those of you that think that, you know, maybe they show up or maybe they don't, or, you know, what do they exactly do? I can tell you that Tuesday, for example, this week, from 8 o'clock in the morning until about 9 o'clock Tuesday night, there were constant meetings that included SCAT, that included staff meetings, emergency management service, land banks, an elected officials call, budget commission, and the list goes on. All of the folks, including Stacy and our staff, were part of these calls. So, you know, every once in a while, I know this is kind of self-aggrandizing, but every once in a while, I think it's good to take a deep breath to let everyone know that it's just not on Thursdays at 10 that we have these discussions. Everything that we talk about is a result of what's happened during the previous week or the previous couple of weeks. So to both Tony and Shane, thank you very much for your hard work. I know that there's some 16-hour days out there. Not that we're not used to those, but every once in a while, I like to sit back and say thank you to those guys. So that's my report for today. Mr. Thomas, I'll start with you for yours.
Okay, I got a number of things. One thing is I'm hearing that there might be a capital budget. So if Mike Ditto is still on, you know, if we can reaffirm our requests to the extent that that capital budget drops either in the lame duck session or before, I doubt it dropped before, but I just want to make sure that, you know, we've got a lot of work into those and have a lot of letters of support. So Mike Ditto, are you hearing anything about capital budget?
Yeah, we are hearing that there is potentially a lot of support to do a capital budget in this lame duck session. I don't think anything will be dropped before the November election, but that's only 40 days away, so it could be fairly soon. I think what legislative leaders are looking at is likely something in December, because that is going to give them a little time to craft it and put it together. The full pot of money is not fully known yet. Originally, they were looking at $150 million statewide for community projects. And we'll have to see what they finally come up with on the total, but we will definitely be lobbying on your behalf to the legislative leaders in both chambers for your projects, and we're going to continue those meetings in earnest in October.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We'll update you along.
Yep, thank you. The other thing I had, Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, we had a meeting with that, and we should expect a request in the coming weeks from that committee. They have garnered a lot of very important supporters, so that continues to move on. I just wanted to do a little bit of an update on House Bill 6. As predicted, Attorney General Yost filed a lawsuit yesterday. His words are he just calls balls and strikes. So he's seeking an injunction, and he's calling HB 6 ill-gotten goods. So you know, he says corruption like that doesn't happen on an industrial scale, which I thought was an interesting turn of phrase, like this without cash, lots of cash. So his job as top law enforcement, he says, is to restrain the enjoyment of these ill-gotten gains that are the fruit of corruption. So what this means is he's seeking an injunction, and it's kind of the worst possible situation for our constituents, in that the fee or the tax, whatever you want to call it, is going to continue to be collected starting January. However, he's seeking an injunction so that the funds don't actually flow to Energy Harbor. So paying for a bailout, not getting a bailout is kind of where we're at. So, we want to continue to keep pressure on our legislators to fix that because that's problematic. Museum, I know we're not talking about that today, but I continue to get a lot of people reaching out to me about the museum. So, I'm planning on Tuesday at 11 to have a Zoom town hall, and hopefully we'll be able to vet some more ideas there. I don't think it's responsible right now to get everybody in a room, and I know that's what everybody wants, but I'm happy to have a Zoom, and if there's something that hasn't been said, I'm happy to hear you out. So I'm planning on Tuesday at 11, and I'll have something up on social media and have Stacy create a Zoom. And then I wanted to unpack a little bit of EMS. Jimmy, I've got a PowerPoint. Can you put that up?
Yep, I'm working on that now.
All right.
Let me know if you can see it. Can you see that, Commissioner Thomas?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of discussions, and I think time is of the essence right now, because can you put that into slideshow, Jim?
Sure. Yeah, bear with me because it takes up both of my screens, so I can't see the Zoom stuff. Just let me know if it works. Let's see.
Okay. So time is of the essence, in my opinion, because we have Pleasant and Adams Township that it has a June deadline, really. And if we're going to make moves, we need to make those moves now. And so, listening to everyone who participated, and I appreciate everybody's words and wisdom, that a lot of people want to be left alone. A lot of people want help. So it's heterogeneous across the county. So one solution isn't going to fit everyone's needs. So we need to come up with a sustainable but flexible system. In my conversations with local elected leaders, they don't have high hopes that any kind of levy will pass. So we need to think of a way forward that doesn't have a levy. I mean, just being realistic, if we don't have elected supporting it, spending time talking about it, I don't think is going to be fruitful. So, I finished up a bike ride last night and sat down and did this. It just came to me as the path forward. It needs some work, but these are my thoughts, and I would like to refer this framework to Stacy and Ken, see if it's workable and see if it's a path forward. But I think we need to act fairly soon. So this doesn't raise taxes, and it works with our existing volunteers. Jimmy, if you can flip the next slide. The big question is, how do you fund it? And I think these numbers are right, but I'd have them verified by Stacy. She's not seen this yet. Currently we're at 320, and that's what we'd probably be at for 2021. I would seek an increase of 400,000 for 2021, and I'll talk about where this money would go. That seems like a big lift, and that's the biggest lift in this 5-year schedule. But, it's my opinion that we're going to be able to use some of the CARES Act money. So that lift isn't as big as it may seem. And I think we're going to be in a position to do it. So 2021 would be 400,000, and we'd go up 200,000 a year from there through 2025, biting it off in small chunks. Any changes that we make are going to take time. So we can't just flip a switch. Everything's going to take time to build. I would be willing to commit, and I think everyone would be willing to commit, any pilot money that we're getting from the wind projects in Seneca County. We're fairly certain we're going to get some starting 2021, 2022, to the tune of $250,000. I can't think of a better use of that money than to commit it to EMS. We have existing districts that have levies and have funds, so they would, you know, have an increasing commitment to this project as well. And I'll show you how that may work, and then would have billing. So at the end of the 5 years, that gets us to the 2.5 million, which is the 3-squad system. It takes the county commitment up $1.2 million. Gives us some time to grow into that, and you know, any additional incremental revenue. So, you know, obviously this is scalable. It might be a 5-year program, might be a 7-year program, depending on how the partners come together and how the revenue flows. So if you'll flip the screen, Jimmy, what does that get you? Year 1, that gets us full-time staffing for a crew. It gets us additional leasable paid staff. And this is how some of the money would come back from the districts. If you're a volunteer system and you need to be in service, but you don't have employees, we would have employees that we would ask the districts to share in the cost of. You know, I'm not married to those numbers, but that's, for example, you know, say $5 an hour, and they'd have to take them for a full shift. And we would additionally support the volunteer networks that we have with grant funding that, you know, you're doing something good. We like it. We want to support it. So that would be year 1. Go ahead and flip, Jim. Year 2, we would have a full-time dedicated EMS North with a 24/7 crew. There needs to be a lot of work done there. We would have to, you know, talk to Bettsville, talk to Jackson Township, talk to Liberty Township, Thompson, Adams, Pleasant, see who's in, what they're in for, and that would drive the decision of where we would put EMS North. And, you know, that would be under the full direction and control of Seneca County EMS. We would continue the availability of full-time paid staff, and we would continue a grant program to the non-staffing participant organizations. Go ahead and flip, Jim. Year 3, continued operation of EMS North, full-time EMTs at each station if the district opts in, and continued grant funding. Go ahead and flip, Jim. And then year 4, we would commence operations of Seneca EMS East. There's a lot of work to do there, talking with Bloomville, Attica, Republic, whether or not they want to be in one district, they want to be in separate districts, it should be in one place, somebody wants to continue volunteer. I mean, there's a lot of work to do there, but the idea is supplemented by volunteers. We would have an East outpost under the full direction and control of Seneca EMS, and continue grant funding for those EMS districts that are successful and we want to continue to support. And then year 5, we get to, you know, consider Seneca EMS West and continuing the rest of the operations. Go ahead and flip, Jimmy. You know, we would increase our expectations of the districts. We would have, you know, more in service. You can opt in or opt out of the supplemental personnel pool. We'd have this reimbursement if you use the personnel pool. And, you know, this is a community project. This isn't a county project. So, you know, to the extent available and where appropriate, we would ask for housing for our EMS units and continue to maintain the equipment as we see as acceptable standards. And that equipment, of course, would stay under the full direction and control of Seneca EMS. And then, you know, this would get us in 5 years, this is the bridge to 3 full-time squads with continuing existing volunteer squads. So those are my thoughts now. I think it's workable. I think it's achievable. I think it's a bridge to the future. And, I would like to refer this to Ken and Stacy to take a look at, because, time is of the essence. We need to give clarity to our northern partners where we're going to be. And, I thought it was important to put some thoughts down on paper.
Okay. Anything else, Commissioner?
That's all I have. Thanks.
All right. Would anyone like to comment, Ken, on any of that, or Stacy, before we move forward here?
Yeah, I'll say that that's the first time I've seen that. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. Anything that moves us forward is better than not. So thank you, Commissioner Thomas.
Okay, perfect. Commissioner Paradiso.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Thomas, for that. That's very helpful and a good starting point. I want to just add a little bit to your proposal, financial piece. I've asked Stacy to pull together, for my benefit, and ultimately it'll be for everyone's benefit. We currently have 5 districts, and we talk about our friends to the north, Adams and Pleasant and Green Springs. They all have some sort of a levy in place. So I've asked Stacy to pull together the millage. What does that mean as far as dollars and cents? To get from Ken the number of runs for each of the districts, and kind of help us pull that piece together. I noticed you highlighted the county's income and their revenue and billings, and so that's very helpful. And I'd like to just get that all together so we can get a total picture of the revenue. And I will also take a look at what you proposed, and more to come. So thank you for that. Regarding the museum, I think we're getting close to where commissioners can make a decision and act on the museum. I have a lot of thoughts put together. I have ongoing conversations and correspondence with the museum. I will join your Zoom call on Tuesday, Shane, if that's okay. And a meeting with Jimmy on Monday. I'll be putting my thoughts on paper, and I think we'll, this will be coming to a conclusion here in the near future. So I want everyone to know that. And I guess that's all I have, Commissioner Kirshner.
Commissioner Kirshner, I want to add one thing. Kudos to Paul Harrison and you two that sit on the land bank. Roofing care center is down. Yes. And there was a constituent question about there was some documentation in there that needed to be destroyed. And Paul Harrison had a shredding company come out and shred all those documents. And thank you to Sunny Farms for accepting the solid waste from that demolition. And I think we're going to be very proud of what happens along the Sandusky River there. So I just wanted to get that out there because there had been some questions about what was happening there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's right.
Commissioner Thomas, I just want to let you know, we're working on a press release. I'm waiting for word back from Sunny Farms to get kind of a quote or some information for them. But it's going to talk about that site and some plans for the future. So keep an eye on local media, and that'll be coming out soon.
Yeah, my understanding was the demo, the tonnage from the demo was much higher than estimated, and Sunny Farms agreed to take that as well at no charge. So, and then I just want to add one other, for the public, one other process. We did receive some calls from private individuals that wanted to buy that property. And the way the land bank is structured is on commercial property, we offer it back to public entities first. i.e. the city, park districts, municipalities. So in this case, that's why it didn't go private, that the park system was able to want it. And then of course the land bank, made that transition. So that's kind of how that works with commercial property. Municipalities and public entities have first choice on land bank properties.
All right, thanks for that clarification. Okay, any old business to brought before the group? Okay, hearing none. Stacy Wilson, new business.
Sure. I'm gonna go over this is a little bit old business, new business, I guess. Got some numbers for you for the employees returning back to work. Show that to you. I left the initial reductions that we had done back in April to see, what departments were requesting. There was a couple that were a little abnormal, but let me bring those up. I guess I'll start with the auditor's office. I talked to her briefly yesterday, so she submitted me a new request this morning. As you know, Mary Jane retired, and she had used her general fund money that she had in her line to cover her buyout. So she was a little short there. She's also requesting, the staff that she has is a little new, and she's a little concerned with coming up through the budget season. So she's kind of asking, not only returning back to work, their office is a 35-hour a work week. She's asking for an additional 7 hours lost, I guess she's saying, and an additional 5 hours to allow employees to work 40 hours a week until the end of the year. So she's still under the initial decrease that she did in April. But this is what her new request is. I know they've been a little behind over there. It's just a little more hectic with new people. So what you guys think on that one? I got the treasurer's, the prosecutor's office, maintenance department, the recorder's office. He has also had an individual that will be retiring, I think, next month. And so that's why his is up, that he's got a retirement buyout that he did not anticipate yet this year. So that's why his request is still lower than what it was, but increased on what we expected. I have the 2 common police courts, juvenile probate court, clerk of courts, highway engineer. He actually did more of a reduction than we asked most departments. So his request is, just including bringing the employee back from his road and maintenance and road fund back to the general fund. Some of the miscellaneous that I have down here, I got them highlighted. These are what we cut in April. The miscellaneous other economic development, that was the cuts we put in place. That's where we pay, obviously, FEDC, TSEP. I pulled their payments and their contracts. FED, we had paid first quarter, second quarter. The original contract amount was $30,000. And TSEP, we had paid first quarter. They hadn't sent us second quarter yet. So they've only been paid first quarter. So that was the $22,250. Total contract amount is $89,000. I think the idea I got from you from the last board session was just kind of withholding just a quarter, maybe, having them reissuing the contracts just minus a quarter. That way it still saved the general fund. Regional planning, they were They are paid. They did a 20% reduction for the county this year because we had not paid second half. All of the other townships, villages paid their 100%. But regional planning had agreed to 2021 is a 20% reduction for the townships and villages. So I don't think they plan on expecting any additional from us this year. We got a bill from OSU Extension for the second half. We paid first half. We cut $30,000 from their budget. So, you know, I think they were happy to only be cut 30. So that would be up to you guys. The 75,000 is originally what we had put aside in contingencies, setting aside for the HR department. Didn't know if you wanted to set money aside yet again for that, or just leave it in the pot in the general fund. So any questions? I know I went over a lot of numbers very quickly. The totals, as you can see, what we had reduced just in salaries for departments, and what the increase would be. I talked to Veteran Services. They are okay. They're not asking for their millage back. They think they will be fine for the remainder of the year with what they had reduced. So they are not asking for an increase.
Okay, I think that just an overall comment would be, and we've talked about this before, that, you know, people did sacrifice, as we all did, for the at least 20% of their expenses. And we're able to manage through it. Now we have everybody back full time. I would just ask that we consider that if we're reimbursing, we reimburse up to and including their budget less 20%. If they had to use other funds for other things, I think we should at least hold off a bit to see what they're going to allow us to do with the CARES Act money before we make those commitments. I know that we have committed to paying the contracts all but one quarter, which I think is a fair assessment. But you know, it would be unfair to certain departments, I think, to do full reimbursements for the original budget, and others keep them cut back to 20%. That's just as a general review of, you know, what we're looking at here. So I would say that if their requests are within the constraints of the 20% cut to be reimbursed for, that we ought to automatically approve those. But if it's outside that, and I really can't break that down based on these numbers, but if it's outside the original 20%, that ought to be a separate approval. Maybe that's too much work, but that's kind of the visual that I'm trying to establish here. Does that make sense, other commissioners?
Yeah, I like that, Mike. That makes a lot of sense to me. We're just trying to treat everybody equally. So.
Yeah, I support that. Stace, I have just a question. So on Ohio State Extension, we would treat them the same as the other contract services. So second half, if it's 30, we would cut that in half. And
Second half request payment would be 61,000. So if we agree just to reduce a quarter, like we would be doing for TSEP and FEDC, then it would be the 31,000.
30, yeah. Are you okay? You're good with that? That way we're
They're treated the same as everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So are we, what are you asking us to do here, Stacy? Is it FYI, or are you asking us to approve this?
I can adjust the numbers, go through, make sure everything is at least, you know, the 20%. I can go through, bring it back to you on Thursday. I may have to do a small adjustment for one of the courts. I think they were anticipating getting some funding today, and I think next payroll or this payroll they may be short. So we'll work on that. I don't think they'll need much, but we'll work on that. So this can wait until next week.
All right, but we don't want to put anybody in harm's way as far as the finances go. So, I would think that we could authorize you to supplement any budgets that would happen to be short by the time next week comes up to make certain that you meet payroll in all those areas. And I don't want to, point any specific area out as being asked to reimburse more. It may very well be that they need to do that, and I appreciate the requests. I understand that each elected and each department head has to run their own areas, so we probably will reimburse everyone for virtually all their requests. But I do think, as a matter of fairness, we need to reimburse everything first within the 20% constraints, and then look at everything that's outside of that.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we can continue on then with new business, the appropriation.
Yep, I have a supplemental appropriation request for unemployment for $60,000. We are slowly getting in the reimbursements. None of the unemployment expenses are being paid directly from the state. So we are slowly getting in reimbursements, and we're 2 to 3 months behind. So Tasha and I went through the bills. The last bill was the highest, about 26,000. I think the current one, I think we're at 10. So we've kind of anticipated it out for the rest of the year. But if those reimbursements start coming in more timely, we will not, it'll be a credit on our unemployment bill, and we won't need this. But if those credits don't start coming in, right now we can barely pay this bill, so we need the additional money for unemployment. We will get the other portion pulled out of the coronavirus relief fund.
Is this the portion of the unemployment that's the excess $600 or $300 a week, or is this typical unemployment?
Yeah, this is the unemployment and the shared works portion. Right now, it's our regular unemployment and the shared works program.
Okay, thank you.
The next one I have a contract service agreement with NCOESC to provide all necessary and appropriate staff and instruction for the Seneca County Youth Center. I'm not sure if anybody is on from the Youth Center. I know, Shane, you had a question about that. I don't see anybody.
Yeah, my question was just, is there a RFP process for that? And, how many dollars does that represent?
Nikki, were they able to get on?
I don't think so. I called them this morning again, and she was going to have somebody jump on, but I'm not seeing anybody.
Okay, well, we can pull that off until next week.
Okay.
So the next I have, pull these back up. PDFs. I have a resolution authorizing the assessment refund as determined by the Seneca Conservation District. Make sure I have that one up. It looks like it's for 2 ditches, 2 groups, Oak Leaf Covert Ditch, a refund of $37.54, and the Perry Wilhelm group for $26.52. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed statement of qualifications for architectural, engineering, and planning consultant services for the Seneca County Airport. This will be set as of Thursday, October 22nd at 10:30 a.m. The FAA requires us every so many years to put this out for qualifications. So this is the year to do that, and so we need to get that get that done and in. So we've set that for October 22nd at 10:30 a.m. And I think that's all of the resolutions I have.
Okay. So Stacy, how do you go out and find groups that will bid on architectural engineering and planning consulting services for the airport?
It gets advertised in the paper, and it goes out to all those construction sites. They always pick up the advertisement. So we have an advertisement going out this weekend in the Advertiser Tribune.
Okay, thank you. Because that's more of a specific ability to talk about airports. That's why I wondered, as opposed to general contracts.
Yep.
We
Okay.
do that ourselves. Does the FAA help us with that? Or is that something we do on our own as a county?
I don't remember if they were involved the last time. They worked with us to get the qualification documentations ready, and they have a scoring sheet set up for us when we go to review the qualifications. So that way each one is treated the same. So we have a scoring sheet that the FAA recommended that we use. So that's what we'll have in when we receive the qualifications.
And is this a 5-year contract?
I don't remember if we do those every 3 or 5 years. That I'd have to look up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Memory tells me it's 3, but I'm not sure of that.
And then I just have one other, I got a thought, my head's spinning here on the airport. So we need to put together an RFP for the drainage out there, and this is separate, right? And I
Yes.
noticed in the last change order that the FAA, which this is a good thing because I think there'll be grant money for that, but they're asking us to put a study together. And I wasn't sure if Stantec was going to do that or if they were basically saying we needed to get somebody else to do that.
We need to put it out for qualifications because I think that will be a new project. If I understood the FAA correctly, that we needed to do this qualification process so we don't get our architects and engineers in the middle of a contract when we leave or middle of a project when we leave. So
who's going to help us put that together? Because I mean, that needs to happen, right?
right.
So I'm looking at you smiling, but
I know.
it seems, I mean, I think it's a little more complex than maybe I realized, but we need to put something together. And so do we get an outside person to help us do that? Does the FAA help us?
This qualification, whoever we hire will get us into that round.
Okay. So that's a second.
We have the plan.
So in addition to what we're advertising for a consultant, this is another.
Yeah, we're not to that one yet. Yep.
Okay, that's coming soon.
Yes.
All right, I understand.
There's a lot of projects going on out there.
Yeah, thanks. No, I get it. But I believe in the change order that we just approved, the FAA was pretty specific that they wanted to see that sooner than later.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just.
Right.
You got it.
I got it.
Okay.
So of the new business, I would need a motion for approving the supplemental appropriations. We are going to remove the staff and instruction for Sunny County Youth Center and approve the assessment refunds for the Conservation District and set time, date, and planning for the airport consultant. I would accept a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Nikki, roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes. Okay. Anything else, gentlemen, or Stacy, to brought before the this commissioners meeting?
I will need just a brief executive session, and we can do that by phone for some pending litigation. It should only take a couple minutes.
Okay, let's go public comment first. then you're welcome to stay on for later if there's anything coming out of the executive session, which we don't expect. But let's do a public comment first here. Jimmy, anybody out there?
Yep. At this time, you can unmute yourself, or if you're on the phone line, you can hit *6 to unmute yourself, and you can come forward with your comments.
Audrey, imagine that you're here.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, commissioners. Yeah, just 3 quick things from me today. So Amy wanted me to remind you all that the Downtown Summit event is next week. So we've been doing some creative out of the box things, the stories downtown, or the stories on social media, and then the stroll with the videos downtown. It all kind of culminates with this event next week that will be on Zoom. We'll be handing out the annual awards and celebrating some really cool things that are going on. So that is on the 30th at 7 p.m. I believe. You can find the information on our website or on the Downtown Facebook page. And please register for that ahead of time. So Amy would love to see all of you on there. That would be great. Next thing, wanted to make sure you all saw this past week we had the announcement for Durrell Ameriwood, their expansion project that was over $3 million and 87 new jobs. So Nick wanted me to make sure that you all heard that good news. And then from my side, this past week, we also were able to officially announce our CEO program that both Shane and Tony, I believe, brought up last week. And we are actively out there recruiting community support for that right now. So we are contacting all of our business partners and individuals. We're looking for support, both financial and as community partners to, help be mentors and be involved with the program. So please reach out to me if you would like to know more about that program. It's going really well with the investor recruitment, but we definitely still have a ways to go. So please reach out if you'd like to know anything more about that program specifically, and you can find information about that on our website and Facebook as well. Do you guys have any questions for me today?
Can you give us just a little bit more on the CEO program? Because I don't know that people are getting the acronym as well as we haven't seeded that well enough, I don't think.
Yes. Sure, thank you. Yep, I've been in it for so long now, I forget that it's not obvious. So CEO stands for Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities, and this is a really unique, out-of-the-box approach to entrepreneurship education. It's targeted at high school seniors, so it actually gets them out of the classroom, out into the community with these business partners, learning about different aspects of starting and owning a business. There is not a textbook that they're following. This program is not targeted just at, high achieving straight A students. They find that students everywhere, straight A students are successful, but they also find students that are in the middle range successful, as well as students who might not actually do that well in school. This might be a niche that actually serves their gifts really well. So it's for all types of students. Some of the outcomes they see are students staying in their communities or coming back home to their communities more than students who aren't in the program. A lot of the students continue to run the businesses that they start in this program after it's over. Some of them use their businesses to pay for college. Some just, continue to scale it. So there's some really great things. And also, even if the students don't end up, continuing their business or starting a business after the program, they're highly hireable. It's definitely a workforce tool as well. The students coming out of this are great assets for the community. And it's totally community supported. The students don't pay, the schools don't pay. And again, they're out there learning from, say they're learning about how to finance a business. They're going to be out there learning from, Old Fort Bank, from one of the managers there. And they'll learn the different aspects of business from our community leaders that are doing those different parts of businesses. So it really gives them those connections and contacts in the community as well. I could talk about it for a long time, but I'll stop there. So does anybody have any more questions about that?
Okay, thank you, Audrey, very much. Appreciate it. All right, Jimmy, more folks with comments.
Seeing none at this time.
Okay, I would accept the motion to go into executive session for the purposes of, Stacy?
Pending litigation.
Pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All right. So we are, as of now, in executive session. I think we probably have to go to Why don't we all go to the, well,
We'll stop the video and then we'll go to phone, right?
Do we have
Yeah.
to leave the Zoom open?
I'm gonna leave the Zoom open
okay.
so they
Very
can stay there.
So Shane, if you can call in, maybe, I'm not sure what your location is, and Tony and I could go to the room and open the phone. We will socially distance and then go ahead and do the executive session.
I'm trying to get the other participant on the phone right now.
Okay. Okay, we're back. We need to go back into regular session. Do I need a motion to go back into regular session, or we're just stating the time and going forward here, I think.
Come back in.
So
Okay.
moved.
Thank you.
Second, it's 11:27.
Okay, roll call, Nikki.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, there is nothing to report from the executive session, and hearing no further business, I will call this meeting adjourned at 11:28.
Thank you.
Thank you.